We were all Richard Allen! 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 We were all Richard Allen!
You pieces of shit got to the jury, didn't you?
We were all Richard Allen! We were all Richard Allen! All of us!
Running again, crushing my brain with the candlelight. Losing my breath, losing myself, dreams are out of sight. Stop struggling against my demons. Stop taking life as fiction. Let it burn, burn, burn. Burn the pain, burn the lies, burn the fear inside myself. And burn it all again. It's the right time to escape this cage I've been looking for so long. It's not where I belong. Let it burn, burn, burn into the ground.
Hey, this is Burn After Reading, and I got a lot to get off my chest, so I'm just going to go ahead and go on with it. We are now about less than a week since Richard Allen was found guilty on all 4 counts. 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of felony murder. Following Richard Allen's guilty verdict, some content creators and supporters have reacted childishly or perhaps clownishly. Previously arrogant and confident, they anticipated an acquittal or hung jury. Instead, they're now facing the harsh reality, and the Richard Allen supporting clowns are not handling it well. Especially one clown. Rick Snay, host of the YouTube channel Delphi After Dark, had a meltdown outside the courthouse after the verdict was announced. He went from being jovial to launching into an Adderall-fueled rant, claiming the jury was tampered with and making disturbing statements like, "We're all Richard Allen!" Snay was clearly suffering from sour grapes. The night before, Snay was under the influence of shrooms and weed gummies by his own admission, something that is probably unwise to share with all things considered. He was recently arrested when driving a work truck, hitting another vehicle. Police found him with weed and hash oil, leading to his obvious termination from his job. Of course, he takes no blame for his actions, but shifts it to the healthcare industry and the law, claiming it's better to be high on weed than painkillers. And while that may be true, rules are rules and laws are laws, and if you gamble with the things you know can get you busted, you must accept the consequences of your actions. But Snay thinks otherwise. Like a 13-year-old teen making bad decisions, it's never his fault, it's always someone else's. Before departing, Rick Snay sought out Richard Allen's wife, Kathy, attempting to exploit their connection for clout. He claims Kathy's association makes him feel acquainted with Richard Allen, whom he refers to as Ricky. Following his initial meltdown video, Snay posted another hours later, making unsubstantiated claims. He targeted those who believe in Allen's guilt, dismissively labeling them as bootlickers. Snay falsely asserted that supporters of the verdict don't care about Abby and Libby, contradicting even the family's own stance. He threatened violence on some who would speak out about him. He boasts that his critics are the reason why his channel has so many subscribers, which clearly shows you where his motives lie. Snay wants to be known. He wants to be seen. He wants to be heard. He wants to be famous. But his assessment of why people follow him is actually flawed. He credits these critics as to why he got over 700 subscribers in over 2 weeks. I mean, yeah, could be that, which I don't think is the case. Or maybe the fact that he was covering a high-profile case and the fact that it was getting so much media attention, maybe that's more likely. But I believe his attempt is reverse psychology. He wants others to believe that people find him more credible than his critics, so it would be in their best interest not to mention his name. Nice try, but no. Another reason why he has the supporters that he does is because he peddles conspiracy theories, much like that disgusting YouTuber, True Crime Design. People are drawn to conspiracy theories for a variety of reasons, including, but not limited to, psychological needs. People may seek out conspiracy theories to feel more in control, certain, or to maintain a positive self-image. Desire for privileged knowledge. People may feel better about themselves when they believe they have privileged information. The desire to stand out. People may believe in conspiracy theories to stick out from the crowd. Power imbalances. Conspiracy theories can be easily prevalent in politics, where power imbalances can lead people to reject the legitimacy of conventional thinking. Snay knows where his bread and butter is. At one point, a commentator asked why he doesn't cover other cases, and he said it was because they didn't draw as much attention. But does his numbers mean that he is right and others are wrong? Is the truth democratic? For example, if someone votes on the sex of a rabbit and the majority votes it's male while the minority votes it's female, does the vote decide the truth? No. The biological facts declare decisively and without debate what sex the rabbit is. If the majority decides they don't like that decision, does it change the facts just because it has the popular vote? No, because the truth is not democratic. Delicious lies are often more popular than the cold, bitter truth. And that is what we are dealing with. The numbers, as much as Rick Snay would like to think, does not establish the truth. And the truth is, Richard Allen is guilty of murdering Abby and Libby. He mentioned Thomas Frost, who said that he believed there won't be a successful appeal. And although that is yet to be seen, Snay is convinced that there will be a successful appeal and a new trial. Just like he was convinced that the jury would find Allen not guilty on day one of the deliberations. He also failed to understand that the appeal success rate on cases like this are anywhere from 7 to 20%. So although it's not impossible, it makes it very unlikely. But what else did he predict? Just like he arrogantly declared that Judge Gall had already lost before the trial started. Why? Because she kicked him and Noe out of any future proceedings for acting up like fools? Let's actually read the official reason. On March 15, 2024, the court entered a courthouse management and decorum order for hearing March 18, 2024 at 9 o'clock a.m. and 10 o'clock p.m. The final paragraph of the order states, any violation of this order and any conduct the court finds disruptive of the proceedings is punishable as direct contempt of court and will result in a term of imprisonment and permanent exclusion from the courtroom, the courthouse, and all future proceedings. Paragraph 5 of the order states, in part, members of the public are ordered to conduct themselves in such a fashion as to limit disruption to the offices, personnel, and patrons of those offices. The court recessed the morning hearing at approximately noon. The court observed a member of the gallery, later identified as Richard Snay, becoming animated and somewhat vocal with the courtroom security, who admonished him to sit down. At approximately 12:10 p.m., the court security observed Snay and David Noe engaged in a conversation on the first floor that ultimately became heated. Court security advised them to be civil and leave the building. Court security removed both participants from the building and observed a verbal altercation between them on the sidewalk and surrounding areas of the courthouse. The court finds the conduct of Richard Snay and David Noe to be in direct violation of paragraph 5 of the decorum order, and therefore permanently excludes Richard Snay and David Noe from all future proceedings in this cause. Snay, of course, denied any wrongdoing, claiming that the mean old Judge Gull just didn't want him to testify, as if she really gave a shit. Snay is not important to this case despite his own delusions. It wouldn't have had any impact moving forward. And all one has to do to know who's telling the truth is weigh Rick Snay's claims and actually know his actual history. And it's not too hard to figure out. And besides, how does Judge Gull win or lose based on the verdict? She's not deciding the verdict. She didn't decide the verdict. The jury was the one who decided it. And it's not like she can overrule if the jury came back and declared Richard Allen not guilty. Speaking of the jury, he goes from previously praising the jurors for asking detailed and inquisitive questions to they must be the dumbest jurors in the world. A statement which happened to contradict his claims that the jurors must have been gotten to by the corrupt Carroll County. But it gets more disgusting than that. He then dismissed Libby's brave and heroic actions despite the overwhelming fear she must have faced recording her and Abby's killer. Snay dismissed the state's claim that Libby helped solve her own murder. He based this off biased Allen supporters who attended the trial and claimed that she didn't even know that Bridge Guy was behind them on the bridge. A statement that is easily debunked based on the fact that Abby didn't want to be left alone on that bridge and Libby pointing out that he, being Bridge Guy, had a gun. Snay again peddled a conspiracy because what he thinks is so obvious to him wasn't so obvious to them. But unlike Richard Snay or even myself, he was not in that fucking courtroom. His hubris attitude is repulsive and disgusting, but sadly, it doesn't end there. He then claimed that most of the bootlickers had criminal records that were expunged and insinuated that the corrupt Carroll County had something to do with it. A baseless claim, but he knows that his lemmings, they'll buy into anything. He then begales us on how unlikely it would be for a man to sexually assault two girls outside and shortly after murdered them, as if something like that has never happened before. To him, a cult is far more likely to have abducted them, took them somewhere else, put a headphone jack in Libby's phone from 5:45 p.m. to 10:32 p.m., even though the phone showed no further movement by 2:32 p.m., did what they did, and brought them back after 4 a.m. in pitch black darkness to where they initially abducted them. The spot where everyone was looking for Abby and Libby. A search that ended a little after 2 a.m. because it was becoming too dangerous to continue searching, but it was perfectly planned by some Odinist a little after 4 a.m. To him, that's fucking logical. Also, the fact that it would be logical that the same people who would have abducted the girls and took them out of a place that they would want to get those girls out of to do what they were going to do, instead of placing those girls somewhere else, which would be more unlikely so they wouldn't be discovered, nope, let's bring them back. Because let's get caught. There was also mention that he felt the jury will be sickened when they learn what was kept from them. So first, they're the dumbest jurors in the world, but now they're going to be sickened because now it was all this information that was left out. But here's the thing. I read the Franks memo. I read the pretrial transcripts, and while it would be supplemental to the defense and what they wanted to bring forth, that whole shit was laughable at best. Even the cult expert that they had testify in pretrial, she wasn't even an expert in Odinism, but she was a generalist. And that was supposed to shock the jury? Or Ron Logan, who had an alibi, and Holder and Fields, who had alibis, claims of indirect confessions from third parties when an ex put on the stand, their testimony imploded worse than the Titan's submersible? The evidence doesn't put them there, yet Allen does put himself there at the same time and at certain crucial points that is validated by other witnesses even though they didn't know who they were looking at. How about placing himself on the bridge? His own wife told him while being interrogated that he told her that he wasn't on the bridge that day, only on the trails. Kind of funny how he's telling law enforcement one thing and his wife another. Funny how all the factual evidence shows no evidence of transportation, and despite false claims by Allen supporters that there wasn't enough blood at the crime scene, it turned out there was plenty of blood at the scene, disproving this absurd transportation angle that was cooked up by the defense. Never mind the fact they didn't try to put on any kind of alibi for Richard Allen. Interesting. But you want to look, all that information about Richard Allen's guilt, that's compelling, but the rest of it, it's smoke and mirrors. All sizzle and no steak. There was no nexus connecting those third-party suspects. The defense had their fair shot to make a case, and they didn't. Any clear-thinking, rational person knows this. But conspiracy theorists, they're not rational. You see, it's hard to win an argument with a smart person, but it is impossible to win an argument with a stupid person. And that's what these people are. They're stupid. They're not even ignorant, because ignorance would mean you don't know all the information. So knowledge on a subject is incomplete, and that can change your perspective. But these people, they have the knowledge, all right? And when any knowledge that contradicts their views is presented, they still reject it, and that's stubborn stupidity. To look at facts and still find it baseless? Unreal. It's why I refuse to debate these idiots anymore. Anyone who watched my debate with the West Memphis 3 supporter knows exactly what I'm talking about. I brought facts, she brought feelings. Despite being presented with these facts, it didn't sway her. It never sways them because it's all about what they want to believe. It's why Gray Hughes most likely won't debate Rick Snay. It's not out of cowardice or fear. Amber Veal once said, "Before you argue with someone, ask yourself, is that person even mentally mature enough to grasp the concept of different perspectives? Because if not, there's absolutely no point." Does Snay seem like a mature person? Has any of his actions come across as mature? Believe me, we will get back to that later. Later in his video, he tells the bootlickers to fade off into the sunset. Stay away. Keep his name out of their mouths, while he and his coalition of clowns find the real killers, because he and his hands of honk-honks are the ones who will honor Abby and Libby so that they can rest in peace. Not the state, not the families who lost their loved ones. Rick Snay and the clown parade. But the one major thing he stated in his meltdown video, and I wanted to save this for last, and if you don't find it disgusting, then this channel's not for you. Because the verdict didn't go his way, he casted suspicion on Libby's family, namely the Patties, or as he disrespectfully called them, the Meth family. He also casted suspicion on Kelsey, Libby's older sister, helping to fan the flames of a 100% false claim that she had something to do with the murders. For anyone who believes that, I hope you trip and fall down a flight of fucking stairs. Fuck you. I believe I provided a fair amount of evidence to Rick Snay's immature and disgusting behavior, but sadly, it does not end here. This is the same man who got upset that Anna, Abby's mother, did not give him her blessing to write and profit off his daughter by writing a book. He stated that Abby and Libby belongs to us now. No, they don't. Rick Snay or his clown car dipshits, they did not birth or help raise those girls. He did not love them. He did not feel the unimaginable pain of losing them. They do not belong to him. They do not belong to me. But let's move on. Rick Snay has harassed multiple people, unsoliciting messages showing, a photo of a person's daughter at 3 a.m. in the morning, threatening that she was fair game. Another he sent several messages to, calling her a fat pig, insulted her work as an author, and threatened, that he had her entire history, and if pushed, he would use it to embarrass her. Just recently, he messaged another person, harassing them at 7 in the morning, threatening he was going to knock a few teeth out of their mouth. Then another he texted, and when the person wouldn't respond, Snay would keep harassing, asking him, where was he hiding? Is this enough to convince you of who we're dealing with here? That he is a disgusting, immature idiot who seeks to go against the grain, not out of logic, but for some desire to cause disruption? No? Okay, well, let's keep going. How about after Snay got banned from any future court proceedings involving the Delphi murders? The complications it was causing his wife and her place of employment. He was willing to divorce her and leave his wife over stupid, nonsensical bullshit. A crusade to free a child murderer. Never mind the fact that his own daughter went online to warn people about him. Is that enough? No? I mean, is this enough to show you who is supporting Richard Allen? I mean, don't even get me started on Julie Melvin, Sleuthy Goosey, and Michael Alsbrook. Although, regarding Alsbrook, I think Fig did a superb job discrediting him. And that's just a few clowns on the list of this clown coalition. In conclusion, Rick Snay demanded that we go away while they try to free Richard Allen. I'm sorry, but that's not going to happen. I never underestimate the power of stupidity and the level of destruction it can cause. I've seen it in the West Memphis 3 case, and I've seen it in the Adnan Syed case. I know idiots in large numbers can affect things, so unfortunately for you people, I won't be going anywhere. Now, I know my channel is small, and I don't pretend to be the next big thing, but I cannot and will not stand to sit here and do nothing. I have a voice, I have knowledge, and I have a platform. I will use it. I won't predict what will come out of this, but I will raise awareness about the clowns trying to free a child killer. And if anyone doesn't like that, they can all kiss my rosy red ass. Get used to me. I'm not going anywhere. And you know what? I have a feeling there are others who aren't going away either. So come what may. Because I am not afraid of any of you innocent fraudster dipshits. And that's all I got to say for now.
Burn the lies, burn the fear inside myself, and burn it all again. To right time to escape this